Welcome to the Foreign Correspondent Club of Japan. Today, my name is Joël Legendre. I'm a correspondent for RTL TV and radio, and we have today a special guest, Atsushi Sakahara, who is a survivor of the sarin gas attack. In '95, when he worked at Dentsu, he encountered this sarin gas terrorist act, urban terrorist act, during his commuting by subway from Roppongi to Kamiyacho.
Yes.
And Atsushi has worked for Dentsu. He left Japan to go to the US and studied at the University of California, Berkeley, and you got an MBA. And you studied filming, so somewhere...
No, business.
Business, okay, but you entered into filming.
Yes.
And he's now a filmmaker, and his company is called Good People, Inc. He produced a Palme d'Or winning short film, Bean Cake, in 2001. It was in Cannes Film Festival in France. And he has also written many books, such as Sarin Gas and Bean Cake at Kodansha and others. If you want to, you can talk after with him to talk all about that. So, as I said, he's now a film director. He's in production on his documentary called A Picture about Aleph, and he's also PR director. And we're gonna hear from him because, from what I understood at the beginning, he wants to convey his message, his impression. He wants to talk as a victim. The victims in Japan of many accidents, such as this terrorist act, but also other accidents in the past, like Minamata or others, have witnesses and victims who are sometimes staying away from the cameras or staying away from the authorities because it is a kind of discrimination that sometimes touch them after that. And from this and from other things, we're going to talk today with Mr. Atsushi Sakahara, and I ask you to welcome him very warmly. Sakahara-san, dozo, please.
Yes. Today, I thought that I should wear a business casual, but excuse my attire because I'm in still production, and my crew is shooting me. And this is my uniform when I'm in production, particularly for my documentary. So please pardon my attire. And then also, I'd like to reach out to the rest of the world outside of Japan. So maybe my English is poor. However, let me try to speak in English and to deliver my message. Thank you. And because I think the standpoint and where I see the world is quite important for any film. So let me briefly introduce myself. And I believe that the very long version, detailed version of my self-introduction is delivered to you. So let me go through the brief version. I was born and raised in Japan, and after college, I worked for Dentsu Inc. advertising agency. And 1995, March 20th, in the morning, I was on my way to office from Motoazabu to Tsukiji, where the Dentsu's headquarters was located. And then I hopped onto the train where the sarin gas was spread or put, and I inhaled sarin gas. And I miraculously survived. And then a couple of months after the incident, I left job. I left Japan to the States. One of my very good friends, Rabbi Hofberg, at Cranford, New Jersey, helped me to recuperate. I spent 1 year with him. Then I moved to Washington, D.C., working for a internet consulting firm based in Arlington, Virginia. Then I decided to apply to UC Berkeley for MBA. Then during the summer break, somehow I decided to go to the Hollywood to make a short film with my friend, the director, David Greenspan. After the MBA, I stayed in the San Francisco Bay Area. I became an entrepreneur, although unsuccessful. And however, the film was invited to Cannes. As Joel explained, well, our film luckily won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. Then I came back. Then I met a beautiful lady, a Japanese lady. She was returned from Europe. And we hit off, and then we started dating. And shortly after the meeting, we decided to get married. And then a couple days before, I went to see her father for permission to get for marriage. She revealed her past. She was a member of the cult that put the gas. And our marriage didn't last so long. About 1.5 years, our marriage became torn apart. Then, from that point, I have had a sort of introspective thinking time for more than, I think, about 7 years. Because I couldn't, if I want to write, if I want to express something, that has to be related to my experience in the subway. And I didn't want to hurt her feeling, and then also I didn't want her to commit suicide or anything, something like that. Then, 2010, I published my autobiography, Sarin and the Bean Cake. But I guess the catharsis was not enough. And then also my post-effect was still severe. And also I had a hard time to manage my emotions. And I cannot work for full-time as a professional, as a businessman. And I was sort of cornered. Then a Buddhist monk in Shikoku, Shuzen Yoshimura, the monk at the #1 temple of 88 pilgrimages in Shikoku, Henro, asked me to shoot around the Shikoku temples, okay, for maybe a change of air. And I did it. But 2013, on my way back to Tokyo for errands, I lost consciousness in the airplane and experienced spine compression fracture. I was hospitalized for half a month, and I gave a thought and thought and thought what I should do, how I should live my life. And then once I was about to give up my dream to make a film, then I wrote a book called The Social Principle about the new sociological theory, which I developed by myself. After that, maybe I should make some film then. What is a film about? What should I do? I originally wished to be a filmmaker for theatrical film, not documentary. But this time, maybe I should face the Omu then. That's how I became a filmmaker of documentary. Then, as I said, I have 3 hats. 1 is I'm a survivor. 2 is I'm a man once married with a woman who had been a member of the cult who put the gas. Then now I'm a film director. Then my message is, people ask me, why Atsushi, you owner, are you a fan of Omu? No way. It's not possible. But the message I want to deliver to the rest of the world is, I want to believe in humans. I want to believe in the humans, even if people kill each other under the name of a religion, even if people kill each other under the name of the country, or even if the people kill each other under the name of the race, I still want to believe in the humans. That's my stance. That's where I stand. Then, if you ask yourself, if I ask myself, okay, is there anyone who really reported the victims of Sarin as well? Is there any journalist who spent more than 24 hours with me? Is there anyone? There's none. Okay? The journalists, what they do is, what is this problem? I have an eye problem. Then he writes it. They don't know the truth. Okay? That's my another standpoint as a victim. Then I thought, maybe Omu people is also in the same situations. Who listen to them carefully, without prejudice? Maybe that's the job I have to do. If I say, as a victim, I'd like to listen to them. Anyone else will shut up their mouth, right? So that was my endeavor and challenge I took. So another message is, do you know about it? If you say you do, how much do you know? That was a question to myself too. So that's why I embarked on this documentary. And I'd like to show you some of my footage I shot, unfortunately very short, but this is the picture. Last week, 2 weeks ago, maybe 10 days ago. Okay, this was shot in 2 weeks ago, and I have exclusive rights to shoot a feature documentary. No one else can show this footage. They still believe in Asahara, and I took Mr. Araki to Kyoto, where both of us came from. No, I just arrived at Kyoto station by Shinkansen, bullet train. And then I took him to my hometown, Nagaoka-kyo City. It's a beautiful city, which I believe. And then we traveled around in Kansai area extensively. And this is the pond in the Nagaoka Tenjin shrine. Beautiful pond. And then film is not finished shooting yet, but I convinced him to see my parents. And then I challenged him if he can tell what he believes to my parents. And then also, I convinced him to see his parents. And that was my challenge. And then I think what I successfully have done, what I wanted to achieve. But still in production, and this evening I plan to see Mr. Araki again, and I'm gonna see Mr. Araki again tomorrow, and we will finish shooting principal photography. Done, yeah, I'm done, yes. No, then that was the film, and for your purpose, you can download this footage. And please feel free to use whatever your project. And then also, I am opening a crowdfunding site, both in Japanese language and then in English. So far, in Japanese side, I have successfully raised 1.4 million yen, about $14,000 probably, USD. And in English side, so far, I have successfully raised $200. So I hope you can help me some way or another. I think this picture is worth being watched by the global audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation, and we are going to go to the questions and answer session now. So, gentlemen and ladies, if you have any question, please approach the microphone, switch off your mobile phone eventually if it's not done yet, and you can ask as many questions as you want, because this is a topic without, for which we don't have so much answers in some cases.
Yes.
Yeah. Any question, please raise your hands and come along. Yes, please, sir.
Hi, my name is David Houston from Kyoto News. I want you to describe that morning of March 20th, 1995, and just when you first noticed something was wrong?
Okay, maybe it takes 3-4 minutes, but let me try, okay? On that morning, I walked from my apartment to exit number 3 of the Roppongi station. And I was carrying a Nikkei newspaper here, like this, okay? And then I went down to the platform. I was leaning against the wall and waiting for the trains coming. Train stopped, and in the first car of the third door, around that door, I found a little space, not crowded. And then I wanted to sit. I'm the person who don't mind sitting right next to the puke or vomit. Okay, so maybe I found the seat, right? And then I got in and I found the newspaper wrapping the sarin gas, okay, on the left side. Third door of the left side. And then I was about to step on the sarin gas, and I was about to sit, but I felt a stares from other passengers, okay? Or maybe this is not right. So I changed the direction to the left, to the right, toward the rear end of the first car. Then I was reading a newspaper, trying to read the newspaper again, article. That article, particular article, says the executive of Omu Shindikyo member was arrested in Osaka last night. Actually, before I hopped into the train, I was reading the article, okay? Somehow, you know, not Bruce Brothers, but the God, you know, Lord, that's mysterious, works mysterious way. 2 weeks before, probably, that day, at the Teishokuya, the luncheon place near the company, I read the tabloid magazine that said maybe the who did the Matsumoto Sarin incident is not Kono-san, but Omu Shindikyo. Okay, so when I was trying to read the article, I felt my eyes are somewhat weird. I started losing the focus. I cannot focus well. I thought maybe I didn't wash or rinse my contact lenses at the time, or maybe I was working too hard. But I don't feel I work too hard. Then I asked myself, maybe this is Sarin. That was a hunch, but I was not sure. If I was 100% sure, I will yell, I will scream, I will let other passengers know about it. But somehow, maybe I should move to the second car. Then I moved to the second car. Then someone followed me, and she shut the door fiercely right after me. I looked back at her. She was a pregnant woman with a sweat. And then I stand at the a top part of the second train, okay? Then I grabbed the grip, right? And then someone said behind me, that guy or gentleman is in coma or lost consciousness. And I saw the guy, middle-aged man, through the two of windshields, right? I could see it. And then train slided into the Kamiyacho station, and passengers in the first car took that guy out, also another guy out. I heard one of those guys passed away later. Then I had a presentation at my company for my client. So I usually take a shower in the morning at the company. So I wanted to take a shower. So I have to go soon, right? Because I want to take a shower early enough. So I woke up to Kamiyacho, and right in front of McDonald's, I picked up a cab. Around the time, I already started losing the light in my sight, okay? And I saw TV news crew scurrying around, running around, And I had a chit chat with the cab driver. Then I went to my company, I took a shower. And that shower was in the basement floor. Then I started losing light again. Okay, or maybe this is kind of a electricity problem or something. Okay, then I woke up. I gave up a shower and some exercise. Then I woke up. Then I could see the sun directly, as if I wear very strong Ray-Ban sunglasses. Then I called up my family, my parents in Kyoto. My younger sister took my call. Then I said, can you check the TV news? Is there something going on? She checked and nothing. She said, oh, there's nothing. And can I talk to my parents? And then she said, what's going on? I think I am in some sort of a big problem. And I feel I'm all right. And she said I should go to see a doctor. What I said is because my father is was running a labor insurance consulting business, I knew maybe somewhere or another, if something happens to me, I have to prove that I was there at that time. And if something happens to me, please find the cab's receipt in my little pocket notebook. Then I went to the office. I left a note to my boss. Then I walked into the St. Luke's Hospital. That's what happened to me that day.
Was there a smell?
Yes. I smelled paint thinner, like little fruity odor in the car.
Like paint thinner?
Paint thinner, yes.
If you have other questions, please come to the microphone. Those will, if you have more.
No.
Sure. Yeah. Please, other questions, if you have any other questions, gentlemen or ladies. Anybody else? Okay, not far. Okay, so I go. You said that you have basically saved your life because people told you to change car.
Yeah.
What have you seen exactly at that time? There was this bag, this dark color. It was opened already. Just let's come back to that spot, to that moment.
Yes. Not unpacked. It was as it was, wrapping the maybe plastic bags in retrospect, and then but transparent liquid was leaking out from the. And I thought, because it's weird, but Takeshi Kitano's father was a painting guy. Maybe painting guy left a paint thinner somewhere or another. I couldn't explain well, or maybe this is a paint thinner. Were there any guy, craftsman, left a paint thinner? What is this? That's my first hunch or reaction to the liquid. No idea what's going on.
Is it a follow-up?
It's a different topic.
Okay, so you come first. We come back to you after that. Okay.
I'm Martin Fritz with the German magazine Wirtschaftswoche. Could you say something? You mentioned your motivation for doing this documentary.
Yes.
And if I understand you correctly, is one problem in Japan is that the victims of 1995 are still victims today, and they are ignored by Japanese society. Many of them are afraid to even apply for compensation.
Yes.
Because they don't want to be labeled as victims.
Yes.
What is your opinion about this?
Yeah, I think you are quite right. And for me, for example, is there any woman who would get married with me, knowing that I'm a victim of the Sarin gas attack, and I may have a better chance to have a cancer and a post effect? Is there anyone who stand out and tell the truth? It's hard, right? All of them try to forget because no one can do anything, would like to help them out. They just have to accept the reality. I think, yeah. And then also, they have most of the NPOs, organizations, government might have a not quite right view on the post effect. I am still learning. I've been sitting in the court of Katsuya Takahashi as an observer for the last month and a half. And I'm learning my post effect by sitting there with another sarin gas survivor. Okay, we sat together, and then I can see his eyes are very tired. He has a hard time keep his eyes open. Okay, and then he fallen asleep right next to me. We've never had this kind of occasion, so it's quite hard to understand who I am, what I suffer from, right? And then also, I think the PTSD, the term was coined around the time when the sarin gas incident. People say, your post effect is a PTSD. Is that true statement or not? Right? I am a organosulfurous post effect, poisoning, gas poisoning effect. That's one of other survivors told me. You know, and then all of the activities by the government and the organization are centered around the concept of the PTSD. Nobody has checked it. And then also, today, I sit as a survivor of sarin gas, but the survivor of the sarin gas is a true statement or not? Probably not. You know why? Because what we inhale is 35%. Only 35% is the sarin gas. 65 are other poisoning, liquid and gas, right? And but people are trying to compress the information in one single, easy to understand term. That put us in a very hard situation, I believe. Right? Do I make myself clear? That's what I believe, you know.
Martin, you have a follow-up? You want more?
This is the message of the film?
No. One message is yes. Yes. Because I am in front of the camera all the time. Okay? And then I cannot keep my eyes open when I have a dialogue with Mr. Araki. People will find out how tough it is. What is a post effect is like. Yes. Then you watch it, right? Yes. But at the same time, Araki sees my post effect too, right? Yes.
Sure, please come.
Yeah, I'm right. Yes, good idea.
I was wondering if you could talk about how your relationship developed with your ex-wife and how or why you started that relationship, and how she came out to you about, you know, that she was
How did I meet her?
that she was a former member. When did she come out to you and tell you that? And how? Yeah.
So basically, how I met her and then how I developed the relationship. Okay. About Omu? Okay. I was introduced to her by my friend. Before I decided to go to the States, I had the opportunity, job offer, in Geneva, Switzerland, as a watch auctioneer. When I was introduced to her, she was working in UK, one of the probably most well-known auction house. And she needed my advice how she can find a job in auction business. That's how I was introduced. And she spoke 10 languages. I was quite impressed and intrigued. That's how I started developing our relationship. And so how she was involved in the OMU, is that what you want to know, or is that correct? She was a student of a very prestigious girls' school, all the way from kindergarten to college. And I think with her, which I declined to name some way or another, to, yeah. And her friend and her, she went to Tokyo University's Autumn Festival, and Omo was doing seminar and etc. And mischievously, she signed as a member of the cult. And as far as I remember, her friend became very serious. And then that became a problem in the school. And I think her parents begged the school to treat her nicely, to let her graduate. She left the school to Canada. And then she entered the university in Canada. And basically, her parents tried to let her be away from Japan. Okay? And after the 1995, I think police and the law enforcement didn't treat her parents not nicely. That was a horrible experience. That caused a problem and trauma. And then also I heard from her something like FBI or FBI by itself approached her when she was in Canada. And she felt very scared about that. Then she came back to Japan. Actually, I had a dialogue with the Araki. Those kind of people are the most, pity people. When I was with her, she tried to be away from police. And some of her old, probably a friend of her, who are still in the cult, tried to get in touch with her. And then also, she doesn't want to see her old friends. Even for marriage ceremony, she could invite no one. It's very sad, right? And then when her work permit application was turned down by Luxembourg, she was about to work in Luxembourg. She cried and cried and cried. Maybe that was the reason, So those people who leave the cult and to come back to our society has the toughest time. No place to go. Yes.
What was your reaction
Can you come to the microphone, please,
Sorry.
if you have a question, so it's on the record.
So basically, I'm just trying to understand, like, when you found out, that she was a former member,
Yes.
what was the conversation that you had with her? I mean,
Okay.
and from there, is that why you guys split up? I mean,
No. If you love a woman, you love a woman, right? You love the woman, right? What happened to her in the past doesn't matter. And I decided to get married with her, right? But when revealed her past, I said, in my profession, no matter what I do, even as an entrepreneur or a film director, I have to be in the spotlight in some way or another. People will say, oh, Atsushi Sakahara is a survivor from the gas. I'm not going to tell about your past, but people will tell about my past. Are you fine with it? She said, fine. And then I got married with her. But that was not fine for her. And then also, I did not have a confidence in surviving in this society with this post effect. And then also, all I wanted to express, all I could express, is somewhere or another related to that incident. And then I asked myself, can I make her happy? Probably not. Then should I let her walk away? Probably right. So that was the decision I made.
If I may just have a quick follow-up on that, has she ever, or do you think she should have shown any sort of regret
About
what happened
to me?
To be in the sect, to do
Yes.
what they did.
Yes,
to you, of course.
she has a big regret.
Apologies?
To me? No. She didn't apologize, and I didn't ask apology at all. Just because I know that she wasn't. But I remember the long version of my detailed autobiography is the one she skimmed through for me when she was in London. I sent it from California. And then she replied to me without telling the reason behind. I cried and cried and cried. That's how I started the relationship.
Hello, my name is Sonja Blaschke. I'm a freelance journalist from Germany. And I would like to ask you, could you describe in a little more detail what kind of medical treatment you received on that day and also later, maybe in the first couple of months and also in the following years?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. That day, the people who were severely affected by the gas took the pump, I don't know how I can say, anti-poisoning, whatever it is, pump. But my choline esterase didn't go down that much. I was affected not only the sarin gas, but also more like more other poisons. So I didn't get the pump. Then I was working right in front of our hospital. There was a headquarters. Right? Okay? 20 years after the incident, now I can tell. My boss came to see me. Okay? Atsushi, are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. But I remember he has a plan to go to Hawaii on that evening. I'm a company man in Japan organization. I know how much he loved or planned, how well he planned to go to the Hawaii with his family. And if he was there, can I survive? No, doesn't matter, right? I let him go, okay? I let him go to Hawaii. Then, afternoon, there was an announcement that that gas was a sarin gas, okay? And then, late afternoon, there was another announcement that if you are not seriously injured, please go home. We don't have enough beds, okay? You have to decide. I was there, laying myself down on the bench right in front of our headquarters. And then I sent my boss to Hawaii. What is the behavior? What is the action I should take? I should go home, right? Many people ask me, Atsushi, did you stay at the hospital? No, I couldn't, right? Maybe I was not seriously injured. You know, so this is the reason behind I didn't stay at the hospital on that day. Okay? There has to be many reasons for any kinds of a human behavior. So basically, that's I want to find out about Omo. There must be a reason why they do it. You know? But I don't blame my boss though. I understand that.
Atsushi,
You know?
what sort of medicine have you had, if you have ever had any medicine?
Say it again?
What sort of treatment have you had? Or
Then I left Japan. I was not quite aware of the post-effect. And I survived in the States without any treatment. I came back. Then after I came back, after I got divorced, I had antidepressant or something, you know, something like that. I went to see a shrink, psychiatrist. And then government offered a support. That is a sort of a flexible application of the labor insurance. We call it the shoujo kote, the fixed effect of the symptoms of the post effect or something like that. But I was in the very weird, strange situations. You know what? If I go to see a shrink, I cannot buy any life insurance, right? Is that the support? So I decided not to go to see a doctor anymore. That is the situation.
you have a follow-up, Sonia? Sure, please come.
Maybe just in addition to the previous question, was there any kind of system that was set up for the victims to have regular checkups, maybe at the same hospital where you were treated at the first time around?
Yes. There was an organization, NPO, called the Recovery Support Center. I used to be a board of that organization. They are trying to do a regular checkup once in a year. In a sense, that helps. But in a sense, they have limitations.
Okay, so we have Lars now.
Lars Leisen, German press agency, DPA. Good to see you again, Sakahara. When you follow the news these days, there's a lot of coverage, and they show the images, the shootings on that day, 20 years after, and you hear the word terror. It's a terror attack, terrorist attack, terrorist attack, terrorist. So this word terrorist and terror attack is repeated over and over again. When you hear that, and when you see the way the Japanese media is covering the 20th anniversary of that incident, how do you feel about that? Are you happy with it? Are you satisfied? Or how do you feel about that? Thank you.
Disappointed. I'm disappointed. I feel I'm disappointed. That's why? Because I want to believe in humans.
Yes, anyone? Questions? If not, I'm going to ask one. Yes, monsieur? Okay. Oh, sorry, madam. I'm sorry, I can't see well in the light. Anyway, we are humans.
I am Miki Toda of Associated Press. I'd like to hear your honest opinion. You've studied the cult, and in now 20 years, what's your opinion towards the cult right now?
In what sense?
What do you think of them, simply?
Simply? They are the weak humans. They are also humans, but they are weak humans. And they have a reason to join, and then they have occasions or chance some way or another, to join the cult. That's how I see. They don't want to face the reality, and they are in a sort of a loop where they pretend thinking or pretend doing something good. That's what I see, how I see them.
Yeah, Atsushi, I have a question regarding what happened at that time. I was myself in Kasumigaseki a little bit after that accident, 95 March. I was asked by my company to go and report about that, and I remember that the Kasumigaseki subway's exit, it was a battlefield with people bleeding and units. There was a sense of crisis again, and there was a sense of course, surprise. At the time, some policemen said they were eventually expecting terrorist attack with guns or bazookas or things like that, but it was the first time that we had such chemical attack in this context. And have you felt when you were at the subway yourself, or when you get out, do you feel there was a sense of preparation or complete surprise? And, do you think that they were ready for facing such crisis, or not at all?
Yes, I think that is a very good question. I tell you that something not good or something wrong takes place in the society, you don't know what's going on. You don't know. You have no idea. But that thing is happening. Meaning, as a victim, I was there, but I didn't know what's going on there. No clue. No fear. But that's a usual day. But I inhaled the gas and became a victim. I didn't, and then also, I didn't, victims usually don't watch the TV when they lay themselves down on the bed, right? But I did, actually I did. And then I heard the helicopter flying around because I was living in the Moto Azabu. And I was watching TV, and then those sounds were synchronized strangely. I still remember, but I don't know. You know, it was a very strange experience.
Any questions? Martin?
Sorry, I've come back to the motivation about your film. Writers like, for example, Murakami Haruki have said that the Japanese society has not really looked for the causes of the Aum cult. Why so many young, intellectual, well-educated people joined the cult. What is your opinion? Has Japanese society learned anything from this?
Yes. I have a unique experience, as I explained. I lived with a Jewish rabbi for 1 year. Okay? Surprisingly, no Japanese knows this. In Judaism, congregation can fire a rabbi. The rabbi is hired. Okay? In Japan, Buddhist monk is not hired by the congregation. They can inherit. That's their family business. So basically what they do is funeral business, correct? They don't listen to people. They don't. When I met Rabbi Hofberg first time, I asked him, what is your occupation? Okay? I didn't know what the rabbi means. And he said, I'm a psychologist. I listen to people. Okay? That's their job, right? In Japan, unfortunately, we don't have it. Why we don't have that service? Because it's that's family business. The system, economic system, the organizational system is different. That's my view. We don't have that care, unfortunately.
Yeah, talking about a question that I was asked before, I would like to ask you, if you said, he asked you, have Japanese learned or not from that? You answered. Some people are now making a sort of parallel between what happened 20 years ago and what is happening now with the Islamist world. And we've seen, for instance, that some Japanese people were interested to eventually join ISIL, or maybe that's a impression, maybe it's not correct. What do you think about it? Do you think the society is ready to go into this sort of terrorism again? And do you think there's a parallel with what happened in the Middle East today? Do you think that violence is something that people could resource at? I mean, look at the violence. Every day there is someone killed in this country these days. I mean, what is exactly the perception that people have about this violence?
Islamic and Middle Eastern. Okay. When I was in the States, after I spent 1 year in Washington, D.C., one of my best friends in D.C. is a Syrian doctor. Okay? He was trying to get USMLE. 90% of a Syrian doctor from the University of Damascus or whatever it is. And they tried to come to US. Okay? I became very good friend of him. He was a financial problem. I let him borrow my money. Half of my money. I didn't have that much money, so maybe I let him borrow $3,000, okay? And then he took the test and he passed it. I'm a very good friend of him, and I helped him. I wanted to introduce him to the rabbi, okay? And then he drove up to my apartment and packed all of my belongings into his car. And he drove to the car to New Jersey. Because I had no seat in the car, so I took Amtrak, okay? And then when after he packing all of his belongings, okay, he asked me though, Atsushi, why do you trust me? Why do you trust me? Then I made a good joke, probably the best one in my life. If you are gone with my belongings, all I have to do is I call up Syria embassy in Washington, D.C. Sounds like XYZ declined to name the name for his protection. XYZ is telling a lie about your president. They will take care of you. He smiled, okay? Then from Amtrak station, he drove to the house of the rabbi. He piled up all of my belongings. I had the key, I opened the door, could you please enter? And then I can make some coffee to wait for the rabbi's coming back. Rabbi was not present. Then he said, Atsushi, you know what? This side of Joran Heights, if Jewish guy is at the empty house, should be shot on the spot. And that's what you're asking me to do. And then he said, even if I talk to your friend, Rabbi, for 30 days sleeplessly, I don't think we can fill up the gap. So my idea about them is they are some way or another, in regard with the information, they are confined. They don't know the truth. Maybe we don't know the truth. We don't know really who they are. They really don't know who we are. That always happens. Even in Seven Samurai, we don't know warrior's parents. We don't know warrior's wife. We don't know warrior's kids, right? That's why we can enjoy watching Seven Samurais fighting against them, right? Otherwise, we feel sympathy with the warrior. That's why we structure the filmmaker does, right? That's my point, you know.
Any other questions? Any other questions? No? Okay, I have one. Your ex-wife has met the guru, I suppose, Asahara. Have you talked about what was her fascination, if ever, if she had? Why did she join like that? I mean, what was? Did she meet him? What was her opinion about it?
I didn't have a chance to ask her if she met the Asahara by himself. Maybe I was not brave enough, or maybe I was not considerate or smart enough. But all she says is, I was not seriously joined. I just signed it, and then that's the situation who I am. So what can I do? All I have to do is just, you know, accept what she says. I couldn't ask her further.
But she had any fascination for that? I mean, she liked yoga, or she liked what? What was her?
But I remember she often sits in the agura. I don't know how I can call it in English, but she agura. Maybe that's related too, but the Rengeza is different. It's more complex. So, but she sits in the agura even in a chair, once in a while. So maybe that was influence, you know.
Okay, we're gonna reach the end of this program. I see that there is this press conference. So if there is anyone who has the last question, please, it's time to do it. Regular member or invited guest or anyone. Has the directors and the production team anything to comment and to add? No, it's okay. Good. Well, Sakahara-san, thank you very much for coming today, and I think our colleagues here are very happy to have heard what you said during this event. We wish you the best in your work, in your production. The Press Club makes you a member, so that is for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you again for coming today, and thank you to all to come today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay? Yes, thank you very much.